some business owners that I've spoken to are afraid to create templates or show somebody else all the steps because they're afraid they might steal the idea or open a business
Right.
that mimics theirs. How do you find that balance in terms of
That's a real touchy subject in the sense of competition and creating your own competition.
Right.
There's a confidence that a entrepreneur needs to have, and that is the confidence I have as well. I have a confidence that says no one can do something that I do like me. And so if I have that level of confidence, even if I show you what to do, no one could do it like how you do it.
True.
At the end of the day, I should have the confidence in myself to know that if I show you, and even if you copy it, you will not copy it and do it like me. And even if you do it on your own, it's okay.
Okay, guys, are we ready? All right, showtime. Welcome to another episode of Yourpreneur. Today, I'm genuinely excited to interview Mr. Brendon Brathwaite. He is the general manager and founder of BUZZConcepts. He calls himself the fun creator. So I'm excited for Brendon to share with us what this fun creating really entails. What exactly does BUZZConcepts do?
All right, so thanks for having me. And basically, having and creating fun engagements is not a standard job. Let's put it that way. No one says, okay, well, let's have fun, hire this person. And that's not a tradition. It was not traditional career from from start.
Yes.
But from being a young kid, and I mean, my sisters were a little older than me, I used to play a lot of games and create a lot of games for myself.
Right.
And in doing so, it just became naturally that when I got old, I started to do a lot of pranks. And then I started to gravitate.
You look like a prankster.
Yeah, a lot of pranks and that kind of stuff. I love to have fun and love to laugh. And in essence, I think that created an opportunity for me to basically just express myself and use my skills to get people together.
Yes.
So that's what I did. And I formed a company many, many years ago. And the company started to make money. I didn't expect it to make money. Actually, it was a hobby. I don't tell people this all the time, but I'll say it for you guys. They say, do a job that you would be willing to do for free. And we started off doing family days. And I would leave a family day. Yes, we'll get a paycheck, but it would be something I would be willing to do for free. Like, it was so cool. And I was doing it with my friends as well.
I love that.
So yeah, so that trend in itself created a real nice opportunity for us. And over the years, when I got a paycheck from like doing a family day, that was more than my salary. Like I personally that's when I decided to jump out and be on my own and say, you know what, I could actually hire people and work with people and do a lot more of this. And that's what we did.
So that is a question I was going to ask you. You were doing it as a hobby. The income you were making now was more than your standard salary. And you decided, wow, I'm onto something. This could be a genuine business. So what next? What happened next?
Well, it was very it was very organic in the sense of I always talk in we because I represent a lot of people. And while I'm the face of it, it's really a lot of young people that I work with that are so exciting and engaging, and they empower me to now send the energy right back to them.
Yes.
And so we decided, and it was where we started to get, it was almost like a snowballing effect. One job led to another, In the first year, we did 6. The second year, we did 12. And in the third year, we did like 45 engagements with churches and schools. And then we started to bid for large corporate jobs like unit trusts.
So hold on. So like the first and second year, was it only by word of mouth?
We didn't advertise. When we started, again, let me get the history, rewrite history.
Okay.
We started in 2006.
Right.
And we didn't advertise until 2012. We were 6 years based on referrals because we were different. and we pushed a different head with regards to gatherings. I did real research in regards to creating engaging activities that were truly unique. We would use, I remember we did events in Tobago, and we had a crab catching event where we got a lot of crab and people had to catch it. And again, I don't know why we thought it would have been successful in Tobago, but people ran up and catch it normal. If we did the event, we thought it would have been so unique, you know. But so what happens in that is that those things were never done before.
Yes.
And people gravitated towards it, saying, you know what, this is so cool. What are you going to bring for us again next year? And next year we would just scrap all the games we did before and do more games, like new games, and we'll come up with a new games every season.
Wow. So did you try the crab catching in Trinidad?
Nah, we just give up on it after. Give up on it after a while. Yeah, so those were the new things that we brought to the market, and over time we just became a full-fledged company.
Wow. So after the first 6 years, when you were going based on referrals, why did you start advertising?
Well, we realized, first of all, based on our logo and all the things that we had, it was very like amateurish, because how we started, it wasn't like we were forming a formal company. We didn't necessarily have, like, what people should be doing is have a business plan and step by steps. We were just natural. It's like everything was so cool. And again, the clients were just coming and knocking, and we felt that in this landscape, we were really gaining market share. Like a lot of big companies were coming. We were doing the Guardian Lives. We were doing some larger insurance companies like Maritime and all these other things. And it was so cool. And in all that excitement, we realized after a while, let's formalize this a little more. So we got a graphic artist to come on board, logos and stationery and branding and brand identity, and all these things. That
did you eventually write a business plan?
Man, it's weird. We formed other companies. Let me tell you, Buzz was the hub for a lot of other companies. We formed other companies on it, one called Bar Stars, that did the bar service for Buzz. Then we formed a rental company called Buzz Rentals, and that was tables and chairs and cocktail tables and lighting and trussing and all those other things. And then we formed, what other one? I'm trying to remember. We formed another company called Snack Shack that actually did snacks and only like popcorn and cotton candy and all those different things. So basically, Buzz was the hub for all these other companies, and all these other companies were formed with other members from Buzz. So it was a different strategy, and I think it was unique in the sense that we were helping each other throughout. So one member would say, hey, I want to do cleaning. And he was like, okay, no problem. We basically, instead of hiring out the cleaning thing, it was internal, because like a guy named Olafemi Saunders, he was a cleaning provider for how much, like 10 or 12 years. And so we formed a company from in the company and did services with our members, which was, I think, is a business strategy that hasn't been coined as yet. But I think it was really, really cool.
Okay. So that means we might see other companies popping up.
Well, the thing is, yeah, there's a possibility. And the thing is, remember, in this landscape we are now, yeah, I'm not sure you're going to see other companies popping up as much. But right now, I think a lot of the companies just dormant. They're waiting.
Maybe the online management company, I don't know.
Well, yeah, all of those things are possibilities as well. All right. But as you mentioned, online, we have, it is a strange thing how we have now, people said, okay, we're talking about COVID now, right?
Right.
And people said that take events and take event businesses online. And for people who don't do events, it is easy for them to say so.
Right.
For people who don't execute, and I can tell you the marketing managers and the event planners of all corporate organizations will agree, it is not an easy task to take the engagement, the excitement, the face-to-face, the cocktails or the hors d'oeuvres, or the lighting and the effects and the emotions. Online, it just don't happen. And so when like the pandemic started, people were saying, so you're going online? And I think a lot of us in the event landscape were very shocked. Wedding planners missed May, June, July, so they didn't get any business. the small business rentals, like like let's say the tablecloths and those,
Yes.
no business. And they miss wedding season.
Yes.
For us in sports day land, we miss the whole sports day season because that's dry season and the peak season. So that's our
Right.
carnival gone. So it was crippling in that sense. But what I think people realize eventually is trying to convert this to online wasn't an easy task. It wasn't an easy task at all. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, as you went through all the different, I guess, sectors that go into planning an event, a lot of people were clearly hurting or missing out on
Yeah.
their usual business opportunities.
Yeah, I think what well, for a little background to it, there's a forum in which we are considering, not we, but some event planners came together to form a Caribbean Association of Event Planners, and in doing so, try to diagnose how many of us are affected, in trying to find out how many of us are really like in that realm of awareness. And I even reached the point where I feel that event planners needed counseling. I think that the COVID affected people so much because
believe
people
that.
I think that they needed like counseling in order to get through, to move forward.
Of course.
Yeah. So
I believe that. I've heard so many people speak about their mental health in an open way, or just adjusting to all the changes, or adjusting to, not having this level of business that you're accustomed to having, just having to adapt
Yeah.
to some not so nice circumstances.
Yeah. And I mean, and again, the thing is, as an entrepreneur, that's our job. You wake up and you are the person creating the opportunity for other people to generate money.
Right.
So you are actually like, let's say we're making our bread, you're basically providing all the tools. You have the kitchen, you have the pot, you have the gas, you have no problem for them to
Right.
actually generate and create
Yes.
a good tasting bread.
Yes.
And so what happened over this time is that we came together after the initial shock and realized that we're no longer in a holiday. We came together and we said, you know what? Let's really try and see how we can convert our engagements from where it is now to online. And we did one client in the oil field industry reached out to us and said, yo, do an online activity.
Yeah.
And we did one. We did an online Zoom activity where we had persons doing a treasure hunt in their home to get certain items. Persons had to do karaoke. We had online karaoke as well. And so we converted a lot of the initial engagements that we would do in person
Right.
onto the online platform. And it
Yes.
worked. And we did 2. And we're now doing 3. So we have a few more coming. So we're seeing
Okay.
where the same energy that we had before, where we started off with 1 and 2 and 3, is now happening for the 1 and 2 and 3
Yes.
for the online activities. So we are excited about that opportunity moving forward.
Well, that's excellent. So I see the business is transitioning.
It is hard. It's like we didn't want to do it. It's like you don't want to do it, but you know what? You kind of have to do it.
Yes.
And I think that is where you're questioning as a like your entrepreneur, where's the push, and where's that kind of push coming from? I suppose that's where, like, I know that in one of the questions was how do you stay motivated? And my question, my thing for young people is, I read a lot of books. Like, that's me. I read a lot of books. When I exercise on mornings, I try to maintain a ritual. But I'm reading a lot of books or listening to a lot of books. A few things pop out. One of them is habits.
Right.
And again, it's not a new study, but it's actually one of the things that pop out to me.
Right.
So I feel that if you concentrate on getting a perfect day,
Yes.
every day, that's what a perfect day, and you write down what a perfect day is and go towards that, you will be ideal. So I say, you know what, Brendon, is a new month. Let's have a perfect day. And I wrote this down last night and I said, how would a perfect day pan out itself? I started off this morning by actually running. I did Mountain Benedict. So I ran amongst America, ran back home, an hour run, and had a good breakfast, play with my dogs, did some work. Now I'm doing real estate as my personal job. So I have a personal job as well as BUZZConcepts on the side. And I did some work. I went and view a house. I got a sign in today. Someone actually purchased a piece of land that I
Congrats.
advertised. Yeah, so I'm really excited about that.
Yes.
And now I'm here with you, having an
Right.
interview talking about the business and the structure of business and actually helping other entrepreneurs to see the light with regard. I'm having a perfect day.
Wow.
And so when you consider habits, I think
Yes.
this is what people have to do is like identify what they want their days to look like and go towards it, you know. I mean, later I can have a little dinner, lime, something like that, and that will be like the icing on the cake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's really good that you've been able to identify something unrelated to even your existing business, but realizing that, okay, you know, I need to add another stream of income since this
Right.
one is down.
Right.
It's always good to diversify your income streams.
Well, the thing is, and I'll tell you how diversification came to me. So last year I purchased a property,
Right.
and my sister was here from Chile, and then she ended up staying for a long time. And in doing so, I was like, my sister was living in one of my apartments. I created an apartment downstairs for her.
Right.
And then over time, I was like, Tammy, I'm not making money, you know. You need to move out of the apartment and come upstairs and live with me, and we need to rent that apartment out.
Yes.
So basically, I got her out of there. And in renting out the apartment, I saw another space, and I said, well, I'm going to build another apartment here. So that's what I did. I built another apartment. And I got people to assist me, but I did most of the work.
Right.
But I didn't like every day painting and this and dealing with tiling and all these different things, skills that I didn't even know I had. And eventually, I rented out those 2 apartments, and a real estate agency came to me to provide the service of renting out the apartments. And then I asked them, I said, I like what you guys do. Is it lucrative? And they said, yes. I said, I was planning to do real estate after I retire from events. How easy it is to get into real estate now? And they said, well, you could join, just have to consider doing this and that, and showed me some steps. And I'm now in my 3rd month of real estate,
Wow.
and I'm happy.
Check you out.
Yeah, man, I'm happy. But the thing is transferable skills. And a lot of times people don't realize that being an entrepreneur allows you to have a lot of skills. Like you have to problem solving, administrative. You have to be a chief cook and bottle washer for a lot of things going on. And
Yes.
so those skills could be transferred from business to business, dependent on your, of course, objective and mindset.
Wow. So let's say things go back to normal in
that's
air
a good
quotation
question.
marks. How do you foresee yourself juggling BUZZConcepts with your new love of real estate?
Well, the thing is, when persons do a company or a business and have a structured business, the real objective is for it to be system run. When like one part of the business plan is is having a system flowchart, and so that flowchart would say, you know what, from start to finish, how a job will be done. Every
Right.
organization does it. Simple things like KFC. They have a system flowchart from ordering to serving to collecting money to delivery, and it's like standard from one to the other.
I'm sure that's the first time many of us hearing about that. So tell us more about the system flowchart. You're like a simple thing.
No, well, what it is it's a sometimes you do it as a diagram,
Right.
and it says from the first call to the time the client gets the product to also the feedback, and it feeds right back into the call. So
Right.
it goes from call to even rejection to call again into, let's say a quote was sent, and then the client gave you feedback and they said, no, I want this change. You basically could map the flow of the business to achieve the goal, or even if you don't get the job, to provide
Right.
feedback into the system to move forward. So what businesses consider is having the system flowchart to basically map the process, but also ensure that if you are an entrepreneur, that you don't have to be there all the time. So when the phone call come for a job from Unit Trust, basically, I supposed to have a system in place where the email is received, the one person reply to it, then we do the proposal, we submit, we get feedback, we adjust the code to suit, and we move on to do the job, execute, get feedback, all these different things. And that's the system. So it don't necessarily need me. And that's what I would think a lot of people don't understand about entrepreneurship. It's not you.
That is a golden nugget right there, because you're right. I've seen so many entrepreneurs that build their business around them, and if they need to take a holiday, no business happens. Or if they're sick, or so you're right. I mean, you want, as you said, to have the business be able to function without you at some point.
Yeah, you want that. And again, the that it takes a while. It takes a while for people to understand and let go, because there are certain functions, like I would be the proposal writer. It take and creative and this and ideas and engaging stuff. But in reality, if you don't create some of the templates, at least for your staff to run with, what are you doing? You must give them and empower them to do certain things.
Yeah.
And so that's where things go well, and that's when business goes. So I think I selling house and land and property, and that's gonna be part of me forever. Like, I can see me doing that all the time. And I love, again, it's the same level of energy though, because while on a corporate level I would cater for, let's say, 5 people in the office I really need to impress, which is the general manager, the corporate provider or the corporate secretary, and a few others who are there who are critiquing me. With regards to a house, I actually helping someone find a home. Like, I helping people complete their dreams, which is a big task, and this is the most money people will ever spend. So, and there's like 30 years and 40 years, big decisions. I mean, again, I take personal responsibility helping people in that realm. So I can see myself doing it for a long time. I mean, not necessarily long. I want to retire early. So I see long as the next 10 years.
Brendon, I realize most Gen X, millennials, and Gen Zs want to retire early. That's a trend I've been hearing about.
Again, the question is, what is retirement? Because some of our parents haven't retired as yet. They've been working all their lives, and retirement now is a concept, but is a concept based on people being able to mind themselves. Now, I have a young daughter, and I told her at a young age, I said, going to school is your job. That's your work. That's what you're working to do. So if you don't get good grades, that means you're not working well. So I said, you have to learn to mind yourself. So when people talk about retiring early, are you able to mind yourself? Is it the investments that you're going to make now going to help you mind yourself later on? I see you guys advertising how much paychecks to retirement.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't even take that into consideration. That is truly relevant. So when you say retirement early, I will push real estate here. It is a way to retire early.
Right.
Because you cater for people's needs. It's a basic need. And businesses also is a way to retire early. You cater for a need. If you do food, napkins, we right now we got a wake up call during COVID as in what is essential. It's weird that some of these tasks before, like hardwares and these things, mechanics, were never even seen as important. Now there's a true awareness of like, okay, well, here it is now. I no longer relevant. Like event planners, we no longer relevant, teachers more important than us, and which is okay, but I think it's put things in perspective to actually allow people to see where and what businesses are critical, so that you can say, if I invest in something along these lines, it would make sense for the longevity, and I can actually consider retiring early.
If you could have predicted the pandemic, what would you have done differently prior to the pandemic?
What kind of hard question is this? That's a hard question.
No, because you have some insights now that you're in the pandemic. You're like, okay, event planning clearly isn't critical, and there's been a fall off in revenue. So I just wondering, if you could have seen it, what would you have done differently or put in place?
Okay, first thing, I think a lot as business people, we sometimes don't realize the responsibility we have to our employees. And while the business could fold up or it could not be successful at a certain point like this, the employees' safety and their consideration and their families and who depend on you is such a big thing. I think I would have put something in place in order to. I mean, I did. I mean, we did have cater for people when they were leaving. I mean, I've found jobs. Actually, I found jobs for most of the people who were full time with me. I've personally found jobs for them.
That's excellent.
But what I'm thinking of is like, if there could have been something else I could have done, that would have been like I would have felt even more empowered knowing what to do. Now, with regards to business, events will always be around. They'll always need to have the skills for event planners. We're not just glorified secretaries. we are not just the people who could make a call. We are people who actually solve a lot of logistical problems by walking the walk long before through our experiences in tasks. And while we may convert some of these things to online, I wouldn't change anything. I think the wake-up call that I got through this year is an experience that would grow me. They say, if you do experience hard, how you'll know when it's good? And if you fall, make sure and fall on your back so that you can look up and move forward. So we are in a position where, as business people, and we got shocked. This is our reality. What are we going to do? Stay down, sulk over it, say, oh gosh, I need counseling, and be sad and sour? No, that's not the right attitude. Entrepreneurs are people who always will solve a problem. However, the problem now is us. We are in the problem. So now we actually have to dig deep and get back into the values and the habits and the rituals that made us a success in the first place. And that takes a little while, but when we do so, I think we'll all come out of this better. That's how I feel.
I want to go back to what the golden nugget you raised earlier about setting up the business so that it can operate independent of the owner. Some business owners that I've spoken to are afraid to create templates or show somebody else all the steps because they're afraid they might steal the idea or open a business that mimics theirs. How do you find that balance in terms of?
That's a real touchy subject in the sense of competition and creating your own competition.
Right.
Because again, I'm a lecturer, and as a lecturer at Arthur Lockjack, I teach a subject called Start and Grow Your Own Event Business.
Right.
I've been doing that since 2010. So consider that I've been out there creating my own competition as well as helping to nurture people in the industry.
True.
So for me now to say, well, I don't want to teach anybody my template is almost like being like a hypocrite now. But at the same time, there are certain, there's a confidence that a entrepreneur needs to have. And that is the confidence I have as well. I have a confidence that says, no one can do something that I do like me. And so if I have that level of confidence, even if I show you what to do, no one could do it like how you do it.
True.
And so if no one could do it like me, and I've been a success for a certain time, a so-called, I say success, I don't like to big up myself.
I know what you mean.
But I've been doing this for a certain amount of time. At the end of the day, I should have the confidence in myself to know that if I show you, and even if you copy it, you will not copy it and do it like me. And even if you do it on your own, it's okay. There's a lot of opportunities for people,
So Brendon, there's a timing then around this. So maybe when you're just starting out and you're figuring you're not going to show somebody everything, but maybe when you're established, or how do you know when?
Okay, let me give you a story. There are people who basically worked in my company and left and opted to do with one of our clients the same job. And the year after, the client called back and said, we opted to go with someone and we made a mistake. And we want to come with you again and we are sorry. Like the client told me that. And I was like, I wish you didn't understand exactly. Like I wanted to twist it. I would say, you should have done that from before. But the thing is confidence in brand. And I don't think I need to hold back. This is my approach. if I'm going to create competition, it's going to help the industry anyway.
Yes.
And I'm not going to be around forever. So, like, give you an idea. Over the pandemic as well, I started, before the pandemic, I was writing, like writing little tips. I did something called event tips. And my event tips would be when I'm on an event site, I would be on Instagram and I would put up things that I saw on the field that was just unique, like guys laying down chairs and they would use a string on the ground to line up the chairs so that they'd be in line. I saw those things. I was like, hey, this is good things to put up on social media.
Yes.
And so in doing so, I created over 350 tips over a 3-year period from 2017 till now.
Wow.
And when the pandemic started, I said, you know what? Maybe it's time for me to write a book. So what I did is I started to take out the tips and write about it. And right now, like I have a manuscript. I got people to read it. I'm just waiting. I don't want to publish it now because it's not a level of awareness that people have on the events industry now.
Right.
But when we back up, I'm ready to publish. So essentially, and that's the next thing. We have opportunities. It's all about attitude. So I have a book.
I want to see those tips. Where is it? On your Instagram?
It's on Instagram, Event Tips TT. And so that's basically it. So I've been pushing those tips, and I think that's where people could see all different types of things that related to event execution, but like behind the scenes kind of thing.
Yeah, I like that.
So it's been there, and I plenty, you know. But it's nice to help and share. So I don't want to stop people from competing.
Yes.
I want to promote people to just keep on enlightening and enhancing the industry.
Yes. Okay, Brendon, you've shared so much and you're clearly very dynamic. Fun creator, realtor, lecturer. Which other author.
What have you?
I have a feeling another coming.
Nah, but if it's one thing, I like to keep it real. So I'm not an actor.
Okay. Lyrics. Boy, lyrics. He's a writer.
Yeah.
So, all right, before I wrap up, tell us something about yourself that maybe many people don't know or that we wouldn't guess about you. Something fun, something quirky.
When I was younger,
Right.
I was diagnosed with dyslexia.
Wow.
It was a strange thing at the time because it wasn't as common as it is now.
Right.
And before that, I didn't understand that I could fail. Like I was failing at everything. Was bad at spelling, bad at dictation, bad at math because I understanding figures. Everything academic wise I was bad at.
Right.
I mean, I excelled at running, and at one point in time, I made the national team and all these different things. But the thing is, dyslexia, being diagnosed with it, allowed me to understand that I wasn't a failure.
Right.
And so that made me pivot into just producing and doing and not being afraid anymore and giving me a lot more confidence. So a lot of times I think even with people who have young kids, and sometimes it might be a disability or it's just that people don't understand them.
Right.
And in their uniqueness, and it has made me unique because in my lecturing and teaching, I teach with more diagrams and visuals than someone who would teach with words.
Right.
Because I'm a visual executor, and that and help with regards to the business as well. Like how I say a system flowchart is a chart, so I could teach people based on the chart. So my staff will come and look and say, oh, where are we in part of the system? And it's looking at it on the board. So a lot of things is like almost taking a disability and making it ability. And so I think that's something that's unique about me in the sense of I've now it's like I tell people, listen, check over my spelling for me. It might be a little messed up, but I'm not afraid. Like if it have errors, it's okay because it is okay.
That right there, that is very inspiring.
Yeah. Thanks.
That's a perfect wrap. I couldn't ask for a better. I'm telling you, it's fun and quirky, and it ended up being inspiring. So thank you so much, Brendon, for being so open and just sharing with us. You're clearly very selfless with your knowledge.
Yeah, no scene. Thank you very much for having me. And I think once again, the young people seeing a program like this, I think when you understand that careers could go anywhere and not necessarily just be pigeonholed into lawyer, doctor thing. People could be excellent masons and tilemen and woodworkers and farmers and generate tons of money to mind themselves and their family and to retire early.
And even reinvent the way it's done.
And invent the way it's done. Yeah, I think that's really important.
Yeah. This was definitely a very insightful and exciting episode of Yourpreneur. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you for our next exciting episode. Take care.